Hello and welcome everybody to today's live stream, Crushing Imposter Syndrome, 6 powerful tips for Black women. Thank you so much for joining me. For those of you who are here live, thank you. And for those of you who are catching the replay, thank you as well. I'm Dr. Twanna, a career coach for mid and senior career in Black women, and we're here to tackle a topic that affects so many brilliant Black women in the workplace, right? Imposter syndrome. I say it like that because, oh, yeah, it had its way with me the first decade or two of my career. Let's face it, imposter syndrome can be a real confidence killer. It makes you doubt your own abilities, makes you downplay your achievements, and it makes you constantly feel like you're on the verge of being exposed or seen as a fraud. But the truth is, you are not an imposter. You belong in that boardroom, in that corner office, and at that leadership table. But first, let's dish on exactly what imposter syndrome is, right? So, about 70% of Americans have experienced it. They've experienced imposter syndrome. It's that feeling that you have that despite your degrees, despite your experience, despite your qualifications and all of your accomplishments, you don't feel like you deserve your success. For me, it was like I thought everyone else was smarter than I was. I thought everybody else was more capable, and they were just a breath away from realizing that I was a big old fraud. Now, imposter syndrome isn't unique to Black women, but it can be particularly prevalent due to the added layers of systemic bias in the workplace, microaggressions in the workplace, and other things that we face in the workplace. So it is all about recognizing imposter syndrome, right? We got to recognize it first. So, how do you know if you have imposter syndrome and it's holding you back? So, I got 6 signs for you to watch out for, right? So, number one, you are constantly downplaying your achievements, right? For me, I was constantly downplaying what I did or how well I did it. I wasn't able to accept compliments, and I was quick to attribute my success to someone else. Oh, it was my soldiers. Oh, it was this. Oh, it was that. This not only diminished my value, but it also inadvertently elevated other people at my expense, causing me to advocate for them and to highlight for someone else's strengths instead of my own. And then as a result, I was making everybody else look good while I was failing to acknowledge my own contributions and worth, which made me look incompetent and also felt incompetent. Right? Number two is attributing success to luck rather than skill. Oh, it was I just got lucky. Oh, I didn't really see that company. It just happened by accident, right? And then number three is the fear of being found out as a fraud, as a fake. Oftentimes as the only Black officer that was sitting in the room when I was in the military, a lot of times I was just consumed with how much I didn't fit in. It felt like I was a big fraud, and at some point, someone in that room was going to say, "She don't belong here. Put her out." That's just, it wasn't reality, but it's how I felt because many meetings, many weeks, I was the only Black person in the room, right? And number four, you don't apply for promotions or new jobs because you feel everyone else is ready. Everyone else is more qualified and they all have earned it, but not you. Right? And number six, you may find yourself over preparing for presentations and meetings. And then when you get there, you don't really speak up because you fear that you're a fraud and someone's gonna, if you say too much, someone's gonna say, "See, I know she didn't know what she was talking about. I knew that. I told you she didn't." And for me, that was a constant fear. So I would sit in meeting after meeting after meeting and never saying a word unless someone specifically addressed me and I had to speak up. Right. And so number 6 is the reluctance to take on new challenges. Right. The thing is when you're in, whether you're already in leadership and you're trying to go higher, or you're on that first rung, you're trying to make that leap into leadership, you got to stretch. Even SMEs, subject matter experts, you got to stretch to grow. You got to stretch to take those challenges. But when you have imposter syndrome, you don't always stretch because you want to play it safe and be comfortable where you think people don't really see you and you kind of hide in the shell. So no one says, look, there it is. She's a fraud. Anybody ever had those days where you just got like one hair over here? It just will not, this side of the hair is not playing well today. I'm trying to keep it down. I didn't water it down before I started, so it's just kind of got a mind of its own. But anyway, yeah, there we go. See, now I got some squirrelies on that side too. But I shall go on. Right. And so again, taking on new challenges, you know, it which shows you may be in a position where you even when so what happens when you don't take on challenges? I have clients who are in positions that they know they've outgrown the position. Sometimes they've outgrown that position 5 years ago, 6 years ago. But when you doubt yourself because of imposter syndrome, you don't take a stretch, you don't take a challenge, right? Because you fear changing, or if you're in a place where you are not valued or respected, you don't take that challenge on and take that risk to find something else. And so you end up getting stagnated and you end up getting stuck. Right. And so I do welcome your comments, and I'll be sure to pop over to my comments page so I can see those. But let's go ahead and talk about the root causes, because it is important to understand that imposter syndrome, it doesn't just come out of thin air. It is often fueled, for Black women, it's often fueled by societal stereotypes, microaggressions in the workplace, and the lack of representation of Black women in leadership positions, right? As Black women, the higher you climb on that ladder, you're often the only in the room, sometimes the only in an organization of several hundred people, or maybe one of a few, but you're in such different places that you don't have that camaraderie, right? That you feel when you're with like-minded people or like people. This can cause you to feel isolated, and this constant feeling of otherness can make you start to question your place. Right? Do I belong here? Maybe I am a fraud. And then you also start to question your own abilities. But some of you are also in hostile work environments where other people are questioning you. They are challenging every single decision. Sometimes they challenge it to the hill, right? Or you're in places where people in your leadership chain, they don't really support you like they support others. I've been in a space where, you know, I've had a boss to make assumptions about my intelligence, or he felt like thereof, or make little rude comments or little passive aggressive comments that insinuate that you're not really, really qualified to be in the room. And when all of this is in the mix, of course, imposter syndrome can hit harder for Black women, obviously, right? And so I just want to take a break right here and say, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just click that button right there. Go to YouTube, click that button and subscribe. I will definitely appreciate it. And that way, and you can ring that bell, and you can get notified every time I go live, or every time I drop a new video, or every time I drop a new riddle. Because yes, I do have riddles on my channel as well. All right. So next we're going to talk about how to crush imposter syndrome. All right. 6 powerful tips. So let's go ahead and talk about the solutions, because I don't want you to walk away without solutions, right? So here are some really powerful strategies to slay the imposter syndrome and step into your full power. So, number one, you will definitely want to reframe your self talk, challenge negative thoughts with evidence of your competence. Why? When you successfully challenge and stop negative thoughts, you will be more aware and more able to recognize racial gaslighting for what it is, right? Like, what do you mean? Many of you are in environments where it's not just you whispering like, I may be a fraud, I might be a fake, but you're in environments where people are going like, that was a quarter hire, she really don't know, or because they're constantly challenging you every single decision. Like, they'll accept everything everyone else says no matter how crazy it is. They'll just accept it, but for you they challenge it or they question, right? That's why you have to reframe your negative thoughts. You can separate your thoughts from the negative stuff that everybody else is giving you. Very important, right? And I think I got behind here. All right. And number two, okay, is definitely celebrate your wins. Be intentional about celebrating all of your wins, whether they're small, tiny, big, minute. Acknowledge your own accomplishments and take pride in those. Take advantage of every shot of dopamine. What do you mean? When you do something incompleted or you do something well and completed, you get a little shot of dopamine to your brain. It's kind of like the happy thing. You're like, oh, okay, I like the way that felt. If you're taking advantage of all the shots of dopamine, then you get all these feel good. It starts to lift you up. It builds your confidence, and you can actually, it helps you fight that, that inner critical voice as well, right? And number three, build a truth squad. What do you mean build a truth squad? You'll want to assemble a group of trusted folks, not the shady folks and the nice, nasty folks, not them. Not they don't count. You don't want them on your true squad, right? You want a group of trusted folks, mentors, friends, and a culturally sensitive career coach who actually understands your value and can offer a different perspective. So when you're experiencing self doubt or gaslighting, you can turn to your squad for validation and encouragement, right? They can offer you reinforcement, and that way you can build up your self belief and counter any negative narratives that may be going on. So get that truth spot for sure, right? And number four, you will want to embrace your negative strengths. So stop trying to fit in. Stop trying to fit into a mold that someone else has created for you. Don't do that, right? Leverage your cultural background and experiences as assets. Remember that companies who embrace diversity earn more money. So you'll want to be authentic to you, because masking every day affects your mental health and it affects your emotional health. And over time, you start to degrade because you're masking, you're not being true to who you are. Right? So, number five, do focus on progress, not perfection. Right? For all the perfectionists in the room, let's say that one more again. Let's say it one more again. Focus on progress, not perfection. And I know what it's like to be in an environment where people question you and they challenge you. And so this next thing is going to sound like she don't know what she's talking about. I do. It is okay to make mistakes as long as you embrace them as learning opportunities. I coach my ladies, look at mistakes as the win or learn mindset. Either you win because you made the correct decision, or it was incorrect and you learned from the decision you did make, right? And again, I know that's challenging because some of you are in these workplaces where people are just waiting to pounce on every single mistake. They pounce on you when you make a mistake. It is still win or learn, because that's what you control. That's where your control is. You don't control what people think about you. You don't control what they believe about you. What you do control is your mindset. Adopt that win or learn mindset. And it won't matter as much as what they say, because once you learn something, you got it. And you can come back and you can perfect it and you can make it better. Right? So, y'all like how I say right all the time, because I do say right, right, right. If you go through and you listen to me, I say right. I said I was going to correct that, right? But I didn't, right? I'm going to have to be okay with it, right? I don't sit here as perfect. I sit over here as someone who continues to learn. When I learn, I just said that, right? Right? So do invest in yourself. Invest in yourself by practicing self-care. Prioritize your well-being because stress and anxiety aggravates isolation. It aggravates depression, feelings of depression, right? It can agitate and make you feel anxious all the time. A healthy you is a confident you. And also invest in a culturally sensitive career coach who understands your journey, right? Remember, you have earned the right to be there and you deserve to be at that table. And remember, Black women, you are phenomenal. We are intelligent and we are capable and deserving of success. We truly are. So don't let imposter syndrome, right? Don't let it, don't let imposter syndrome and racial gaslighting in isolation steal your shine. Believe in yourself, celebrate you, celebrate your own achievements, and keep pushing forward, right? And so I do open up the floor if you have questions, if you have comments. I love you to drop it in the chat. I'll answer it on live, and I'm more than willing to. For those of you who catch this on the replay, you can also drop your comments and your questions in the comments, your comments or your questions in the comments, because I always circle back and answer those, right? There we go, right? So, Black women in the workplace is my passion, and I am definitely here to support you. Okay. So, when you're looking for a culturally sensitive career coach for personalized coaching, just click the link. I have the link in the comments. It'll also be in the description. It's also scrolling across, right? You can access my exclusive access form so that you can take that first step and set up a complimentary 30-minute career solution call, right? Set up that consultation with me. And in that session, we'll create a step-by-step plan for your coaching and success. It all starts with a complimentary 30-minute career solution consultation. Right? And again, the link will be in the comments as well as in the description. Thank you so much for joining me today, and keep slaying, queens. And I'll see you on the next video.